Today, we're talking about the best way to transform your digital marketing, and that's through focus. Welcome to the We Are Slam Show, a show where we share best practices, insights, and marketing ideas to help your business grow. My name is Tyler Kelly, and I'm here with my co-host, Michael T. Johnson. Today, we're talking about the best way to transform your digital marketing, and that's through focus.
So the first way to really focus your marketing this year is to know your customer. This is really important because you're not selling to everyone out there. Like whatever you're selling, you have a very specific customer. And if you want to reach them, you don't want to waste your money spending on people that'll never buy your product. Mm-hmm. And this is really the power of digital, is our way to focus on who our customer is, not waste energy on people that aren't our focus. So do you know your customer? Like, do you know who is actually buying what it is you're selling? I mean, that's the first question you have to answer. It's the who.
The who, yeah. And you know, when you start to get an idea for these are the types of people that respond well to my offers, that buy my products, that engage with, you know, my brand, then at that point you can begin to build a buyer persona.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about buyer personas, here's something to think about: market segmentation. Now, this is probably a term that you've heard before. If you haven't, let me walk you through it. There's 4 types of market segmentation, and this is really just how you segment your market, like the people in your market, those personas. So first way is demographics. We all know this.
Demographics are pretty familiar to most of us, but it's, you know, age, it is race, gender, like very simple things that classify people but don't really tell us a lot about them other than that.
And so the second is geographics. So, you know, white male, 38 years old is the demographic. In St. Louis, Missouri, that's the geographic. The third way is psychographic. That's the person's interest, attitudes, and opinions. Like, what are these things that make them engage, make them move, you know, inspire them to do something? Interest, attitudes, and opinions. If you know this, like, we can actually target it.
Yeah, so this could be like hobbies, it could be political affiliations, it could be anything that person affiliates himself with that they build their interests upon.
Yeah. And the final is behavior. And that's essentially, you know, like, I used my American Express card at Home Depot this weekend. That was a behavior that I did. And I'm going to target you as a marketer. I'm going to target that person or add them to some sort of segment. And if those people that are shopping at Home Depot using American Express in St. Louis, Missouri, who are, you know, African-American females, if that's my demographic, then the cool thing is, and we're going to talk a little bit about this later, is we can target those people that specifically through this stacking idea of stacking segments in social media, in LinkedIn, in Facebook, online, Google AdWords, all of the above.
Yeah, and stacking gets really interesting, and it's actually really powerful.
We should do a show on that just at some point in the future. In fact, we probably will. But the first point is just know your customer.
And know them very specifically all the way to their behaviors. So the next thing you can do this year to focus your marketing efforts is to unify all your customer data. Now, explain a little bit about what that means, customer data.
Yeah, so, you know, as a marketing director, you probably have a list of customers in MailChimp. You have a list of customers on social media. You have a list of customers or prospects even, you know, in your CRM, in your HubSpot marketing. You know, you basically have customer data everywhere. If you're going to focus and do so in a way that's going to transform your marketing this year, then what you need to do is you need to unify that customer data. You need to get it all in one place, or at least have one place where all of that stuff goes into, and you know, that's like your master list. That's your master customer data source. And then take that through technology, automation, digital, and let it, you know, go out and do its thing. But you can't even get to any of these places. You can't even begin to explore automation as a marketing director until you have your unified customer data.
And most people unify their customer data in a CRM. Right.
Yeah. And so the one you probably heard of is Salesforce.
Yeah.
If you're a solo marketing director with a couple people on your staff, maybe you have a sales team of 5 to 10 people, then Salesforce is probably overkill. You're not going to like it. You're going to pull your hair out. We'd recommend HubSpot CRM if you're getting into, number one, CRMs to be able to track customer data. And then number two, a little bit later down the line, marketing and sales automation.
Yeah. And this isn't necessarily a show about HubSpot, but to get started with HubSpot, it's free rather than a huge investment, thousands of dollars into some other CRM. So
yeah, it's not cost prohibitive at all.
So once you've done those things, you've defined your customer and you've unified all that data you have into a CRM, then you can really start to double down on audiences. Now, this is really powerful. Audiences are really cool and they maximize your marketing dollars.
Yeah, so in a previous show, we talked about audiences, but here's some things. Let's say you know exactly who this customer profile, this buyer persona, you know who these people are. Now you can begin to go find them in places like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google AdWords. And essentially what you're doing is you're saying to the technology out there that this is my customer, go find them. And that's what an audience essentially is. And there's some really cool ways on the ground level. And then as far as just like automating at the highest levels, there's some cool ways to do audiences. Some that I like on Facebook is the page UID or the profile UID, which is basically every Facebook page or profile has a number associated with it. And that number is your ticket into that person's advertising, like their feed. Even if you're not friends, if you've never connected, you can advertise to these people if you know that ID, and that ID is publicly available. What you can't always do is get these people's email address. So this is a very easy way to get your product or service in front of people that fit your demographic, your persona, your market segment, and to do so without trying to figure out, or your salesman trying to figure out what their email address is.
So, and Facebook can find these user IDs in a lot of different ways. So like almost any kind of data that you have on a customer, like you already talked about the email address, but if you know their first and last name and the city, like other kind of pretty basic information, sometimes it's their other social media profiles. Sometimes it's, pick something. Facebook will go and search and they'll find that user ID and you can reach that person then.
When we're talking about doubling down on audiences, the only way to do that is through having your data all in one place to where you can actually begin to use it. And, prior to having data, you need to know who your customers are.
Yeah.
And if you're able to focus in this way this year, then you're going to transform your digital marketing, because this is the point at which you're able to combine sales and marketing. And it's the first time really in, business history we've been able to combine our sales with our marketing. No longer siloed. Now we're working in unison, we're working together for a common goal, and it's pretty exciting.
So that was just a quick dive into these 3 concepts that you can use to focus your marketing this year.
If you want to know other ways to transform your digital marketing, we have written an ebook with 5 ways to do this. And I'm not going to tell you what they are right now, but you can download that ebook on slamagency.com. Just put in your name and email, and we will send that ebook to you. It will be of value.
So also, if you watch the show or listen to the show and it was of value to you, you got something out of it and you think it's helpful to you, we would love it if you would subscribe, you would rate and review our show wherever it is you're consuming or listening to it, whether it's iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. We would love to hear from you. And if you have a friend that you think this is going to help, share it with them. And we just appreciate you and your listening. So hopefully we've been of help to you.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you just watched, subscribe, then hit that bell. You'll be the first to be notified when new content goes live. After that, you can watch more videos from Slam Agency. We've picked something we think you'll love.